make it, but we in. Started from the bottom, now we looking top tier. Know that we the chose, so they made us feel the fear. I see God appear when I look into the mirror. I know that I'm the chose, yeah. And it's time to give us back the identity they stole. Rest in peace to the nigga that they try to make a me. Gotta elevate these bones, cause we the stand. Waking up the dead so they finally understand it. Now look at what is wrong, cream of the crop. No matter the problem, we rising to the top. I'm the progeny of God stand.
Okay. Here we are. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to another episode of the God Standard Podcast. This is episode number 16, Self-Mastery, Defining Your Own Success. And we have our dear brother on here today, Ahmad ThePoet. Welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. So for those of you that don't know, Ahmad ThePoet is a social media influencer across various platforms. 20,000 followers, 50,000 followers. Like he's in it to win it. Okay, so we're gonna get to know him today. For those of you who are new to the podcast, on the God Standard Podcast, we aim to bring light and life to the original people of the planet. And we do that by sharing stories of regular people like you and me who have used the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad to become gods in their own arena, in their own life, and just continue to uplift themselves and their communities and those around them. So with no further ado, welcome. How are you today? Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. I'm doing excellent, and once again, I appreciate you having me on. This is a blessing. I haven't done an interview in quite a while. I'm not sure when the last time I did one, probably over a year ago. So this is a blessing, and like you said before, God doesn't make mistakes. Allah doesn't make mistakes. This is God's time, and so this is a blessing, and I'm looking forward to a powerful conversation.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. We know Allah is always on time and always in divine order. So the name of the podcast is Self-Mastery, Defining Your Own Success. So what does the definition of success, what is Ahmad's definition of success for you?
That's a very great question. And it's a great question because it's a deep question, and it's one of those questions that require us to have self-reflection and to really ponder on. And something I think about oftentimes is just how busy we are with our own jobs and careers and things that we do on a daily basis, that we don't have time oftentimes to sit and ponder on deeper concept and deeper thoughts, like what is success? Like
Right.
if you ask the average person what is success, it's just money. It's most people stop at money. And it's just like, because we don't have enough time to sit and ponder on these deeper things, to sit and ponder on what am I doing? Is it aligned with my bigger purpose? What did God put me on the planet to do? All these deeper questions.
Right.
So when you ask me what is success for me, success for me, and it's ever evolving, but in its simplest form, it's just being an honorable man and to leave the world in a better position, in a better space than I found it, and more with an emphasis on my family. My father passed away when I was 10, and so it gave me a different perspective on life. And he was a minister in the Nation of Islam over Mosque number 53 in Flint, Michigan.
Okay.
And so he didn't leave, absorbent amounts of wealth and all these different things, right? Material wealth, right?
Right.
He left knowledge, wisdom, and understanding through the teachings. And so our family, is better off from it. It changed our lives, just introducing our family to the teachings, raising us in the teachings, so it's just a blessing. So my perspective is not more about material, because my dad was the greatest man in my personal life that I knew, and it wasn't about material. It was about leaving the people that you impacted and touched in a better position than where you found them. So that's success to me, and that's what I want to do with my family. I want to leave them in a better position than, when I entered the family. When I leave this world, I want to leave them in a better position.
Right. Praise be to Allah. I love that answer. And you're right. You're absolutely right that even sometimes when we do have the time, we
Yes.
don't think about these things. We don't think about,
Yes.
especially when something is so I was actually just having a conversation with my son earlier this week. When something is so common and so almost like cliche, it's like we almost don't take a second to really like think about like what does this mean to me? Like not what
Hmm.
I'm told or not what I see, but like what does it really mean to me? So it's very important to define that. And I know that a lot of people do define success as, you know, monetary advancement, you know, material wealth. And
Yes.
you know what I mean? From what you're saying, you know, it's about impacting people. It's about changing people and helping people solve their problems. And the way that the world works, the way the laws are set up is that, you know, most of the time if you do that and you do it right, the monetary, you know, compensation will come. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So that's beautiful. So you mentioned your father as, you know, being, I guess, a pivotal role in your idea of success and your idea of like who you want to be in the who you want to walk around in this world
Yes.
at, right? And I see that, you know, on your social media you do a lot. You have, you know, your personal platform, you do a podcast, you have a community, and you also speak on, you know, life insurance and stuff like that. So
Yes.
like
Yes.
where did it all start? Like where like what did you start from, and how has that like evolved over time?
Um. So it's heavy, and it's weighted, and it's layered. It's a layered question. It started, I would say, in my childhood.
Okay.
I've always been a talkative individual.
Mhm.
My mom always tells me, like, you know, when we used to go to the farmers market and we used to walk around the track. It was like a half a mile track. Me and my siblings. She was like, "Everybody be quiet. You just be talking the whole time throughout the whole walk." Like that was she was just like that was always you. You was just so my dad and my mom, they would always just say, "This is the little minister. He gonna be a minister when he gonna be," because I was the one who just liked to talk. So we would do like we would do like a mock mosque type thing at home on Saturday. So my mom would cook bean pies, and then they would have like a mock podium, and then all of us would get up there and say something that we learned from, you know, the teachings from reading or from the lecture the previous week. And I
Right.
would get up there and be up there the longest, and just trying to emulate my dad and trying to, you know, talk like he used to talk up on the podium. So, or trying to talk like the Minister Farrakhan, or you know, just emulating people that I grew up seeing. And so I would say it started then. And I grew up homeschooled. So I grew up in a little bit of a sheltered environment. And so that kind of protected my individuality. It kind of protected my innocence. When my father passed away, however, when I was at the age of 10, I ended up going to public school. And public school was a different environment. It's like the jungle,
Right.
right? So it's, you know, it's eat or be ate, you know, so you kind of have to adjust to your environment. And I would say it never stifled my voice, but it changed what came out of my voice. You know, what my voice was talking about. I
Right.
wasn't as vocal about the things about, you know, self improvement and self empowerment. I was vocal like being a class clown, vocal like being, you know, arguing with my teachers and being disrespectful to my teachers. That was my way of vocalizing because I was just adjusting to my environment. But I would say I refound myself and recame back to myself around my I would say my my eighth grade year. I had a dream about my father, and he told me it might have been my eighth grade year, or my seventh grade year. I had a dream about him in the summer, and he told me, if you don't change this year, you're gonna die. It was that simple. And I've never told the story on my podcast, and I have almost 100 episodes. But yeah, that's what he told me, and it changed my life because it was a powerful message
Mm,
came coming from the image of my father.
right.
And deeper than that, I don't dream about my father often. So when I do have a dream about, and he's in there, and he's in my dream, I take it serious. I take it as a sign from Allah because I don't dream about him often. I
Right.
love him. It's just Allah does not send me dreams of him. You know, He doesn't send me messages through him. So when I got that message, it got me back on my trajectory of doing what I was supposed to do. And so I would say I just became more vocal, and people out was in school with the administrators, teachers. They were just like, "Man, you're gonna be a lawyer. You're gonna be this. You're gonna be that." And then fast forward, I got into entrepreneurship a little bit in high school. I used to like paint shoes and stuff like that for other people and like restore Jordans and stuff. That was like a big movement when I was in high school, like restoring Jordans and restoring different shoes and stuff. And then, so that taught me social media management because I had to learn how to grow on social media to grow that following on my
Right.
shoe cleaning business to get customers. And so I just learned all these different methods of how to get people to follow you back. And
Mm,
then, so I would say when I got into college, I had gave up on my dream of or my goal that I thought I wanted to be of a lawyer. I gave up on the goal that I had of to be a nurse. I gave up on those goals. I don't want to say I gave up. I got more clarity on what
right.
I actually wanted. So I thought, and I wanted to be a sports journalist.
Okay.
So I decided to go into sports journalism, and I just reached out to any of the people that I knew who had like blogs or websites or different things of that nature.
Right.
And I was able to work for two different separate websites, and I would run their social media for them. And my job was just to grow their social media. So I did that for several years. And yeah, eventually I just got burned out. I was made,
Right.
excuse me, I'm a little bit sick at the moment, but
You're
I
healing.
was, you said, huh?
You're healing.
Yes, I'm here. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I love that. Yes, I'm healing. I'm healing at the moment.
Listen.
Um, so I had just got burned out doing the sports journalism. I was made a lot of promises. Man, you're gonna get courtside media passes. You're gonna get this. You're gonna get that.
Right.
And I wasn't given the things that I was promised. So I created this blog on the side called The Ancestral Plane. I
Right.
had originally saw a page called Black Fist, and it was one of the brothers in the nation who used
Okay.
to just post videos of the minister, and it was just motivation. Like I used to wake up when I went to college, I would just wake up in the morning and just look at these videos, and they would motivate me to go to class, motivate me to do what I had to do, just listening
Right.
to the minister. But it was the hip hop beats, and I didn't really grow up on hip hop. I grew up on classical music, so
Okay.
I love the videos, but I was just like, man, I want to do something like this. I want to do clips of the minister, but I want to do it with classical music because I grew up on classical music. So
Right.
I was just like, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just do videos of the minister and classical music. And it was like a way to keep me on social media because I did not want to be on social media managing pages anymore. But running that page and posting videos of the minister and creating those reels or those videos at the time kept me motivated to stay on the platform. So the first video that I posted, Brother Rizza Islam, he reposted it, and I gained 200 followers the first day. And
Wow.
it was that moment that I was just like, I got something going on here because I had never gained that many followers that fast ever.
Right.
So I was just like, I'm gonna stick with it. So that's how the ancestral plane started. That's how that platform started, and I did that for a numerous amount of years. Grew to hundreds of thousands of followers, and then a gentleman reached out to me who was just like from my city. And I
Right.
know I'm just like rambling because, like I said, that it's a layered story how it all started.
Yeah,
And just
it's okay.
so
We're listening.
it's this brother from my city. His name is Jaquavius Coleman.
Okay.
He's a writer, well-known writer. He writes for Warner Brothers, and he's wrote like 16 New York Times bestsellers, all the whole nine. Him and his wife Ashley um, Coleman. So shout out to them. And he just asked me, he just like, oh, man, what can I do for you? I love what you're doing. Because I used to just do videos of me going online, just talking to the people and just, giving my thoughts on stuff, just
Right.
commentary. And so he came across me. He was like, man, you from my city, man. You from Flint, like Flint, Michigan. He was just like, man, I love to help you out. And he was like, what can I do for you? And I was like, I don't know. Nobody's ever asked me that.
Right.
I see a lot of people's talking about podcasts, and a lot of people tell me I should do podcasting, but I don't even know how to get started. I don't know where to go. And he said, bet, I got you. He
Right.
hooked me up with a studio in Detroit and paid for my studio time for the first 3 months. Um, yeah, man, and that started me out. He helped me create my logo, paid for my logo, just took care of the whole nine,
Right.
and it got me started. And I just came up with the name Breaking the Machine podcast. And so it was originally supposed to be like a day in the culture, talking about different things that happen in the news, that different things that's happening in the culture.
Right.
But in the second episode, we had this guest come on, Courtney Bell, and he was just pouring his heart out, just talking about the things that he experienced growing up in the community, the trauma, all these different things. And it quickly pivoted into a mental health podcast. So after the second episode, we completely shifted. And
Okay.
that was just direction from Allah. And he showed me that the direction we needed to go with the platform was mental health. So that's the space I've been operating in. I've been working with people for the past 3 to 4 years. I've been in the high schools mentoring young boys through my program, Breaking the Machine, and then also just working in colleges. So I used to work with the Men Achievement Center
Okay.
at University of at North Carolina Central University. My apologies, the HBCU in North Carolina.
Right.
Working with them and Dr. Rhodes. So it's just been a blessing, just to talk to people my age, people older, people younger, just about mental health and work with them. And then yeah, just I just created more blogs from there, man. Helped teach my little brother how to do it. He helped me create more platforms and
Right.
just keep building from there. I was able to connect with a lot of athletes, celebrities, business people just from building my platform. People show me love over the years and that I've kept in contact with,
Right.
and then been able to have them on my show over the years. So it's
Mhm.
been a blessing. And then, like you mentioned, the life insurance. And my audience doesn't even know this because I haven't really been putting out episodes on my life. So this is powerful that we get to talk about this.
Right.
So I ended up losing my job. I was working for a nonprofit a year and a half ago, something like that. So I was working for a financial nonprofit, but they're a libertarian nonprofit, so they believe in libertarian philosophies. So I was working for a nonprofit called the Foundation for Economic Education,
Okay.
and long story short, I ended up losing my position there. Our whole department got defunded, like we lost donor funding, and
Okay.
so yeah, I continued to do what I've been doing my show. Just it didn't really stop anything. I just kept doing what I was doing, and I had a guest come on, and he was a business guest. I knew he had a business podcast, so I just brought him on, had him on, and then afterwards, he invited me to his office, and I knew he was a business guy. I didn't know really what he did.
Mm.
His brother named Manuel Amesqua. So I ended up going to his office, sitting down, talking with him. And after I would say a minute or two in the conversation, I knew he wanted me to come work for him. So
Mm.
he offered me a job and told me, listen, if you come work in financial services, if you come work for my firm, I
Right.
guarantee you in 5 years it'll change your life and you'll thank me for it. So I said, okay. And I just, started to embark on this journey. So I got my life and health license and pursuing my securities interest exam right now and just continue to work to get more licenses. But right now, I just work with clients to help educate them on different, retirement, just the importance of retirement, how to plan for retirement,
Right.
how to protect their income, and just really the mindset around creating generational wealth, because it's really a mindset thing. The more affluent people I've talked to, the more, wealthy advisors that I've talked to who work with clients who make exuberant amounts of money. And the biggest thing about them is people who have wealth are not interested in doubling and tripling and flipping it. They're interested in maintaining it.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
yeah, the biggest thing that I've learned from just working with clients in the financial space is that you never truly know who needs help and who's truly all set, because nobody's really all set.
Right.
I've reached out to some people in my network who I never thought ever would use my services or ever would sit down and have a conversation with me because I
Right.
thought they were all set, but turns out they needed something that we do. So yeah, it's been a blessing, and I've been doing that for almost a year now, and yeah, I pretty much primarily work with professional athletes or college athletes. So
Okay.
that's primarily my ideal clientele, as they call it. But yeah, it's been a blessing, and yeah, I'm learning a lot. Looking forward to sharing a lot of the stuff that I'm learning with my audience, and
Right.
yeah, that's kind of how I got started.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing all that, and thank you so much for sharing, the story about the dream of your father. That
Yes.
that is super. So many questions come into my mind.
Mm.
But it's very interesting that you speak of life insurance, and not only life insurance, but just really becoming, financially competent and educated, especially for our people, because I dabbled in the business a couple
Yes.
years ago, and seeing, like, when I started learning about it, I was like, for me anyways, like for me, I'm like, this is not that difficult. Like, it's not
Mhm.
super complicated, but it's just that people don't know, right? Like, our people generally don't know. And for some reason, this is something that's been coming up in my life, like just
Mm.
this concept, this idea, just the past, like, even like few days. So is very interesting, and it's super important for our people to, you know, be privy to these things, because everybody else, not to say everybody else knows, but a lot of other, you know, cultures and communities know and are taking advantage of, you know, these things. So all the best with that. And, you know, I pray that, you know, Allah blesses you to bless many other people. So
Thank you. I received that.
um one thing you touched on was, you know, you were homeschooled and you grew up sort of sheltered. Can you speak to that experience, just of being homeschooled in those early years, and also like how do you think being homeschooled and being sheltered in those years shaped the way that you view your life and the way that you view, you know, being self actualizing, if you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a beautiful thing. Growing up homeschooled, and what that meant to me, it was heaven on earth. Simply put, it was heaven on earth, and there's a lot of different things that come with that, right? So you're in an environment that's completely curated and sheltered by your parents, and you're experiencing the highest class of life. You know, you're eating bean soup every day. You're eating, righteous food every day. You're learning the lessons. You're not dealing with, you know, various crazy like different type of attitudes and stuff like that. Like you have to
Right.
deal with in public school. It's very curated. It's very disciplined, and we're going on trips. We're going out to the museum. We're traveling. Like it was just a beautiful experience.
Right.
And so that can be somewhat of a shell shock when you go from living in an environment like that, and then you have to go to public school,
Right.
and then so I would say how it has affected me in my life up to this point. It's been like a guiding light, and I talked to my mom about that. Often about how everybody, if you ask me, everybody, we have a happy place.
Right.
And, just because it's your happy place doesn't mean it's good for you. But we all have a happy place. Some people's happy places is drinking, some people's happy place is smoking, some people's happy place is music, some people's happy place is the gym, some people's happy place is yoga. My happy place is my childhood memories,
Right.
and my happy place is the present moment because my life is good. Like my
Right.
life is not bad in any sense, in any sense. My life is my life, so my life has ups and downs, but it's beautiful. And so, but my childhood is my happy place. And so when I listen to classical music, and that's why I listen to classical music now. Like my mom used to play classical music when me and my siblings was in the womb, so it connects me to every period of my life. Every period of my life, I've been listening to classical music. I didn't start listening to hip hop music till I was probably 11 or 12.
Right.
So majority of my life, I've been listening to classical music. So when I am sitting back and I'm relaxing, I'm just reflecting on my life or just unwinding from the day, and I put on some classical music, it connects me to my childhood. It connects me to a beautiful moment. Even when I just listen to like soundtracks from a childhood movie that I used to watch,
Right.
I love soundtracks. That's my thing.
Hmm.
And it just connects me to a beautiful childhood, a childhood where it's supremely innocent. You have no understanding of bills or stress or, you know, violence or any of those things. It was just like my dad was like he was the potato. I didn't worry about anything. Like I didn't worry about anything. He was gonna take care of. Like I didn't know nothing about bills. Didn't know nothing about struggle. Never seen my parents. I seen my parents argue once in
Right.
my whole entire life, and they were arguing over if my mom was gonna get a job because my dad didn't want her to get a job.
Right.
And so it wasn't even nothing major, but and I remember asking my dad after they had got done, and it wasn't even an argument. They were just louder than they normally were, and I said, "Are y'all gonna get a divorce?" He was like, "Boy, what? Don't ever say something like that. No, we're not gonna get a divorce." But I had just seen movies, childhood movies, and I didn't even know what divorce was. I'm just throwing out the word, but um, yeah, my childhood was beautiful, and it definitely has helped me in moments where um, yeah, it's beautiful, man. Because it's I'm sorry, it's informed my childhood. I mean, it's informed my adulthood as well.
Right.
And just my understanding of so many different things, like even love. You know what I'm saying? Like I've seen what true love looks like. So I know what it's supposed to look like. And I seen what a peaceful household looked like. I seen what two people, working together, just for a family, and understanding that it's a bigger goal
Right.
than just what we got now. This legacy. So my childhood was so beautiful, man. And going into public school, like I said, it definitely it definitely gave me a lot of things that I had to battle. But Allah, He gives His toughest battles to His toughest soldiers. So
Right.
that was a tough battle going to public school and then having to deal with people who didn't come from those environments. Like I went to MUI in Chicago,
Right.
so I was there for a year and a half. Me and my siblings was there for a year and a half. So that was our first experience with a school outside of homeschool.
Right.
And obviously, if there was an ideal setting for you to go to after public, it would be MUI. MUI is the best educational environment. It's better than homeschool. It's the highest class. From the education to the faculty
Right.
to the food. I believe Sister Dolores was the chef when we were there at the time, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
I believe she's transitioned now, but it was just the highest of society. And so to transition from that and then go to public school, like the first week of public school, I showed up to school in pretty much a dress shirt, slacks, and dress shoes, and it was tough, because everybody got J's on, and I'm just like, my mom did not understand what it was about. She would just, y'all
Right.
gonna go up there, y'all gonna be. So I'm fighting. It's a lot of people cussing at me. I never heard cuss words in my life outside of you might hear one occasionally in a lecture by the minister. He might throw out something a little stuff, but I
Right.
didn't know what none. It was a culture shock, and I had to earn my stripes, So it's all a blessing now that I reflect on it, because it made me the man that I am now. And one thing about the fruit, we the best, and we rise to the top. So it was just one of those moments where you have to rise to the top. You have to hold true to who you are, and you got to battle these opposing energies, these opposing opinions.
Right.
And we came out on top. It didn't stop who we are. I didn't give up on the teachers. I didn't give up on my foundation, and I was able to maintain and protect my sense of self, my sense of righteousness. And so I wasn't perfect, but
Right.
we're still here, so it's a blessing.
Praise be to Allah. Praise be to Allah. Let me just say, for those watching, thank you for watching. If you guys have any questions, please, post them in the comment section, and I'll be sure to pose them to our brother. So you speak about, not losing your sense of self. And when it comes to, I feel like, and, I think most people can agree that when it comes to entrepreneurship, a huge part of that is
Hold on for 1 second. My apologies.
yes, y'all, if you're watching, feel free to comment, feel free to interact with us. We're open to questions. Okay.
My apologies. My apologies.
Yes, sir, no problem. So I was saying that, when it comes to entrepreneurship, a lot of it is self-awareness. A lot of it is understanding yourself, because, there's nobody telling you when to wake up and where to be at what time and all of those things, right? How would you say self-awareness has, played a part in your life, in your success, and how important is it to you?
You said self-awareness, right?
Yes, sir.
Oh, self-awareness. It's such a powerful concept, and it's like when I hear certain things, it just triggers out so many different thoughts. But for me personally, self-awareness is understanding that. I mean, there's so many things, but I would say the biggest thing that comes up is that you're not wrong if you're not just like somebody else, And I would say that was the biggest thing. Like even being in journalism and doing what we're doing right now, having a conversation, like me interviewing people. I have a co-host for my podcast, so certain guests might gravitate to him more than they gravitate to me. In
Right.
certain environments that I am in life, that they might not receive me the way that I want to be received.
That's right.
But just based on my self-awareness, I understand that I'm an individual and I'm a person. I'm a unique person, and I cannot always be everything for everybody. I might not be your cup of tea. That does not change the fact that I'm a righteous Muslim. That does not change the fact that Allah still loves me, And, I'm still pleasing in the eyes of Allah. I'm just not pleasing in the eyes of you. So my self-awareness allows me to maintain my authenticity, even though when people might not receive it in the way that I wanted them to receive it. So that's
Right.
been the biggest thing for me, even in the work environment, um, working with different people, just understanding that, hey man, this person might not receive me the way that I want them to receive me, but just based on my self-awareness, I know I treated them the right way. I
Right.
know I was intentional about the way that I was treating them. It just didn't come off the right way. They just didn't receive it the right way. And hey, I can let it go now. I let that be between them and God. So I would say that's the biggest thing that self-awareness has brought up for me. I mean, just awareness in general. It's intentionality, just like you said earlier about you're not sick, you're healing.
Mm.
Like that's intentionality. I talk to my family about that all the time. I talk to my friends about that all the time. Just in like small little things with our language, because
Right.
it's powerful in the effects that it has on our body. So yeah, I would say that's what self awareness means to me.
Praise be to Allah. Yeah. I saw one of your videos actually, and you were speaking about and you can correct me if I'm wrong. I think you were saying like your demons, like facing your demons, like facing the things that
Wow.
are challenging you. And the way that you put it is like almost like you created a system of like you know
My
finding
demon board.
find,
Yep.
yeah, finding the issue and solving it. Can you talk about that and any other just I'll leave it at that. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I would say I was going through a period in life um where I needed to be very accountable for my actions, very accountable for things that I had not been held accountable for before. Um, and so I needed a visual representation of that accountability. As we continue to elevate in our lives and we have different things going on. Um, Side note, when I talk to a lot of advisors who work with clients, I ask them, what's the most important thing that wealthy people do, that successful people do, and they stick to a calendar,
Right.
and because it helps them stay organized in what they have going on in their life. So it's important for us to have things that remind us that recenter us, because as we continue to elevate and grow, we have more responsibilities, and everything cannot be compartmentalized. And I don't want to say everything cannot be compartmentalized in the mind, because it can be, but sometimes when we're overstimulated, like we are in this current society,
Right.
we need different things to serve as reminders. And so that board, I had went to Office Max and got a dry erase board, and I had cut it up and drew a line down the middle and a line on the side, and then really have four squares that I would put numbers on to chart how many days I was consistent with doing these four things that I struggle with.
Right.
So eating one meal a day, reading a book a day, praying every day, right? And then not using social media. So I would just chart it. I would just chart it, and then I got to see what I was weak at and what I was strong at.
Right.
Because I might be 30 days into eating one meal a day, and I'm like, man, I'm really good at that. Like that's not an issue for me. And
Right.
eating has never really been an issue for me. But it's I might not be able to pray 30 days in a row. Because I would only chart it if I prayed at least 3 times a day. So it was just so many different things that I could see. Like, okay, well, when I'm really good at, sticking to one meal a day, this one has to give.
Right.
Or when this one is given, this one is really strong. So I could just see how they were correlated, because it was never, I don't want to say it was never, but it was very rare a time that all four of them were at the same number. And I
Right.
always started out at the same time for each of them every month.
Mhm.
And the numbers would always vary because I would always be weak in different spaces. If something's going on in my life at this moment, this demon comes out. This demon is strong when this is agitating me. When I'm dealing with stress at work, this demon is strong. When I'm dealing with, different issues that I have, just about my purpose and what I want for the future. And I'm not really understanding where I'm headed with the future. This demon is bothering me. So it's just like, if you might have an unsure thought or unsure path for the future, you might not want to read, because you might be reading about the past. And now it's just like, I don't want to read about the past if I don't understand the future. So it's all these different things are correlated. And I was just able to see that. So that's something I talked about on my podcast. And yeah, man, just accountability in general. Accountability in general, it's just it's just one of those things where you have to be around people who are going to hold you accountable, just like that dry erase board. Who are going to
Right.
show you to yourself and not run away from those people. Right? I run to those people because I've always reflected on myself, and when I reflect on myself, I'm just like, man, I'm the real deal. And that's always how I felt about myself. And so, even when I got into the financial services, um, one of my mentors when I got into the business, this brother Tyrone Thorpe, shout out to him, and he told me this business is a mirror. It'll show you yourself. So
Right.
wherever you are, it's not going to show you what you think you are. It's going to show you what you are.
Right.
And I said, yeah, I like that. I'm gonna like what I see.
Right.
And
Right.
so I'm still in the business to this day, and um, so far that's held up true. So that's always been my thing. I have no problem with people holding me accountable, holding up the mirror,
Right.
because I know the cream rises to the crop, and we're the cream, so we're gonna rise to the top. Yep.
Yeah, right, right, right. And it's so important to have, that I feel like the accountability ties in with like self-awareness and knowing yourself and knowing who you are, because you understand that even if you meet criticism, or if you meet correction, that it's not a reflection of like who you are intrinsically.
Yes.
It's just a reflection of, okay, where you can improve, how you can grow, how you can better that little part of it, kind of thing.
Yes.
So that's beautiful. So I wanted to get into, well, if that was one resource, I wanted to know, like, are there any other things that help you stay on track, help you stay accountable to yourself or your goals? Like, are there any like things that you do other than that like helps you?
Um, Stay accountable to my goals. Um, it's just one of those things. I wake up in the morning and I'm on 10 every morning.
Right.
It's just Allah has just blessed me just to be that way. I
Right.
wake up every morning, and I would say my mom is definitely a motivating factor for the way that I work, because I want to retire her
Right.
very soon. And she has given so much of her life and so much of her energy, her time, her attention to our family, and just to keep us up,
Right.
and so that's my driving factor. Like, and I don't have to watch videos or to jump up and down or do jumping jacks to get motivated in the morning from the day.
Right.
My brothers will tell you, because I'm always on them,
Right.
especially not so much my sisters, but from the time I wake up in the morning, I call my little brother. He's in college at the moment. Um, and I would just call him and say, "What you doing, man? What you do today?" Like, I'm that guy. I'm not overbearing with it, but at the same time, I'm just I'm life is just my motive. My family is my motivation.
Right.
My family is my motivation in a real way,
Right.
and just in a very real way. I wake up just ready to go every day, like every single day, because I've told people all throughout my life, like, and I say it all the time. People be thinking I'm joking, like, Allah promised me I will be wealthy in this lifetime.
Right.
And I know that since I was a child. I've never, it's just one of those things. And these are things that I don't even talk about often, just because it's just personal to me. But it's one of those things that I've always known to just be the truth. I just known I would be wealthy in this lifetime. Allah has always just had that on me. It's just always been like a thought in my just in the back of my mind. It's just
Right.
always been a whisper. Just, you're gonna be good. Like, everything is gonna be good. And so when I think about that, I don't just sit and say, okay, it's coming to me. No, I'm like, Allah told me I'm gonna be good. Like, I gotta get up and I gotta go get what He promised. So I gotta go and go and make the most out of my day. So um, I didn't grow my social media platforms in college from being passive with it.
Right.
I did that for hours out the day. I
Right.
DM'd thousands of people. When all is said and done, if we could tally up all the DMs that I sent to people, all the comments I left under people's pages,
Right.
like, man, it's I couldn't count it. Like, it's
Right.
tens of thousands, tens of that. Like, I put in a lot of work. I've sent tens of thousands of DMs. Like,
Right.
that's just my personality and my mentality. I'm all in on what I'm on, and I'm trying to scale that to, you know, a bigger community, and then to be able to do all types of stuff with it. So yeah, I would say that that's my motivation. My motivation is my family, and I wake up motivated every single day.
Right. That's beautiful. And when you say that, that was, just let it be known, that was like, sounds like it was before the AI bots and all
Yes.
of those things. So it's like manually, like putting in, like literally putting in the time, putting in
Yep.
the, that's beautiful. So it sounds like you have a very strong why. Like you have a very strong fundamental reason to keep going, to get up and to, do what needs to be done to get to where you see in your mind, right?
Yes, ma'am.
um do you have any like words for a younger brother, younger sister who, may have these goals, may have aspirations, may even, envision themselves being successful, but, struggle with that motivation, struggle with that internal drive to, get it done?
Um, I would just ask, is this what you really want? You know, I'm a personal believer that when you align with your true purpose and something that you really want,
Right.
you're just gonna do it. It just motivates you in the morning. And so I had a friend who used to always tell me, I know when you want to do something, or I know when you don't, because
Right.
when you do, it gets done.
Right.
And it was a powerful message because I had to reflect on it in my life. I was just like, that's the truth. When I want to do something, it gets done. Because I've done a lot of hard things in life,
Right.
but it got done. Like when I wanted to pursue, my career ambitions of being in journalism before I got into financial services, like the day after I graduated from college, I packed up everything in my car and I drove to Atlanta. I rented out an Airbnb for 2 months. I spent
Right.
everything I had saved up, rented out an Airbnb, and I was there every day, just networking with people that I had met from social media and just trying
Right.
to connect with celebrities and all this other stuff. And everything, it doesn't matter how hard it is for me. The difficulty never mattered. It's, do I want to do it? And if I want to do it, I'm gonna get it done. So I would say, if you're trying to find motivation, if you're trying to find drive, ask yourself, is this really what you're driven to? Is this what God is driving you to? Is this what He's called you to? And that's a serious conversation that you have to have with yourself. And nobody is going to want it more than you want it for yourself. Like you can't
Right.
expect a coach to want it more than for you than you. You can't expect, your mom or your dad. You can't expect anybody to want, what is for you more than you do, because that's a losing proposition. If
Right.
somebody else wants it more than you, if somebody else wants it more than you, they're going to have it, and you're not. It's for them. It's not for you. So I would just say you have to wake up and know that you deserve it. Like you deserve to be wealthy. You deserve to have the things that you dream about. And the biggest thing that has always been a blessing that Allah has allowed me to understand is that the things that I dream about and the things that I want are very realistic. And that was a difficult thing for me growing up. That was a difficult thing for me for a specific period in time. I don't know specifically what the time was, maybe ninth, 10th grade year in high school, of really thinking, can I do the things that I have in my mind? Can I go to that college that I really want to go to? Is that possible for me? Or is that like that, like, how do I do that? Like, can I really make $100,000 in 1 year? Like, is that possible? Like, can I really meet this person that I might have connected with over social media, but can I actually sit down with them and like it was just I don't know if people can understand, but it's just like you have things in your mind, and it's just like I've seen people do it, but is that for me? Because I've seen people try to do these things, just like when people talk about like, man, you can make so much money in real estate. It's just like, yeah, but I don't know nobody directly who does that. Like I heard, I've seen it, but can
Right.
I do it? I've seen people talk about, having 1 million followers, but I don't know anybody personally. Like, can I really do it? So it's that thing in your mind,
Right.
and I was able to get over that, and everything that I have on my heart, that is that, and everything is relative when we're talking about realistic and crazy and blah blah blah. But like everything that I have on my heart in terms of ideas and things, I believe I can achieve them all. Like truly, I do. Like I used to always tell my family, like I'm supposed to live in a castle one day. Like, and I honestly believe I could buy a castle one day. Inshallah, I'll have enough money to buy a castle if I wanted one. Like,
Right.
nothing is impossible in my mind, truly. And I don't just say that as an affirmation or any. I truly believe that,
Right.
and I wake up and I grind like that. And so I take things as signs and symbols. Just like when I interviewed that brother that I said that he invited me to come and work for the financial firm.
Right.
he's a CEO of the firm, so he's the top dog. And so um, that's a once in a lifetime opportunity. You don't have CEOs of Fortune 100 companies offer you a job and then mentor you through
Right.
the ups and downs and all these different things. So I saw that as a sign and an opportunity from Allah. It was just like, I don't know how long I'll be here, like where's this taking me, but Allah has presented me with this opportunity, and He
Right.
knows what I've been praying about and what I've been saying that I want for my life. He sends me things I have to go in that and see what this is about. So
Right.
um yeah, it's a blessing. But yeah, I would say that if you're finding lack of motivation, you got to ask yourself, do you really want this? And
Right.
then you have to. This is my last piece on this. Do you have to really know what you want?
Right.
And meaning, you can't just know what it's going to look like. You got to know what it is, because
Right.
you know what having 1 million followers looks like. But do you know what it is, what it takes to get that? You
Right.
have to love that part too. And I love that part. When I did podcasting, and like I'm still doing podcasts, but I haven't done my
Right.
podcast in quite a long time.
Right.
But I love that part. I've invested tens of $1,000s in my podcast and
Right.
I made not a lot of money on YouTube, not a lot of money relative to how much I put in.
Right.
And so I love that part. I love reaching out to, a different affluent figures and getting them to come on my podcast. I love driving, an hour away to set up the podcast, set up the lighting, do these different things. I enjoyed moving from Michigan to Atlanta to pursue, networking with, higher affluent guests or whatever the case may be. So I love the minutia of it. I love the hard part. I love the gritty part. And because that's what made me undeniable.
Right.
Because if you know how to do every part of the process, just like I heard Nipsey Hussle talk about it, how he knew how to produce the song, he knew how to mix the song, he knew how to do the song, he knew how to write the song. So
Right.
that's what it created out of me, especially with an entrepreneur or whatever industry you're in. Once you do every part of the process, then you'll fall in love with it and you'll say, yeah, not only do I love the process, but I can do it back and front
Right.
with my, blindfolded. So it's a blessing.
Right, right, right. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I love that. And I feel like too, like in learning and being a part of all these different aspects of things, you actually like you almost fall in love with whatever that thing is because it's like it's so intricate. You see how the thing works really from like a bird's eye view, if you will. So it's not like it's different when you're in it and you're operating in it compared to like, okay, you're seeing this whole system or this whole, machine, if you will, right?
Yes.
So that's another thing, and it sounds like faith plays a huge role in your mindset because you can't do all that with little faith or no faith, you know what I mean? So it's like, sorry, 1 second,
Yes.
sorry about that. Yeah, like you have to have faith, you have to have faith to, and the way that you say it, I can hear and I can feel the conviction. It's like, no, but I really believe it. I'm not
Right.
just saying this, like I really truly believe it. So yeah, that's a beautiful thing.
It's
Can
beautiful.
the last thing that I kind of want to touch on is when we have, dreams, when we want to create something, I know, I'm sure some of the people watching know that we have to have a vision first. We have to be able to see what it is. We have to be able to, visualize ourselves there. Um, can you speak to, and you have I think it was a video on your Instagram. Can you speak to like operating as that person while you're in that, as you spoke about it, you're in the stage literally of doing the small little, tasks and this and that. You're not there yet, but the importance of acting as if and operating as if and like waking up early in the morning as if and posting like you're that million, the person with the million followers. Like, can you speak to the importance of that?
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. And I think, first off, nobody's perfect. But at the end of the day, we have to just take our small steps, and make our small little bit of progress daily. And so one of the things I just try to do is just get my day started early and be intentional about the different things in my day, like I would if I was, worth $100 million or whatever the case may be. Like I try to even step into rooms and the conversations that I have with people. I always try to exert that energy as, my presence is priceless. Like let's not even put a dollar amount on it of $1 million or 100 million or any of those different things. Your presence is priceless, and you have to understand that. Like I used to over explain certain things, or just kind of yeah, over explaining things. And when I was having a conversation with my mom one day, and she was just telling me like, you don't have to explain things, over explain things to people.
Right.
Um, just like when somebody asks you like, "Are you busy?" and you are busy, but you're not like in a meeting or something. So like my mom was just like, if somebody asks me, am I busy, or if I'm in a meeting or something, and I'm reading the Quran, I'm gonna tell them, yes, I'm busy. Like I'm in a meeting, like I'm studying, like I'm with myself right now.
Right.
And so at the same time, I just learned a good sense of just like self respect, but just to be able to step into who you want to be, your future self, the better self. You just have to understand that you cannot call that future self into existence until you start to do the things that future self is doing. Like your future self wakes up at this time. Now you got to start waking up at that time, because slowly but surely you start to become that. You just like you and that future version of yourself are one and the same. But you have to start taking on small pieces of that person. Like, hey, I might not be able to eat one meal a day like my future self, but I can wake up at 6 a.m. I can wake up at 7 a.m. Or I
Right.
might not be able to eat one meal a day, but I can at least read one page a day,
Right.
because my future self reads a chapter a day. So let me
Right.
just read one page a day. Like just taking those steps. But I think the biggest thing one of the biggest things that I've seen um, in my career as a journalist, and even working in financial services as a financial coach, like one of the biggest things is just about understanding who you are and being comfortable in it. Because oftentimes you don't need rehearsal in the material, you don't need rehearsal in the doing, you need rehearsal in the being.
Mm.
Like even journalism, like when I was doing journalism, people would ask me like, man, how do you turn it on, how you do an intro? Like I
Right.
done been on sets, and they done spent thousands of dollars on the set, and it's just like, I do not want to mess up this intro, I don't want to mess up this, I don't want to have to keep cutting back to the beginning or whatever like that, like because I know a lot of time and attention was put into this. And they would make like, how do you rehearse, how do you get prepared? And I would say, I don't rehearse questions like that.
Right.
I don't rehearse talking, because I can talk naturally. So
Right.
I
Right.
don't need to rehearse that. What I need to rehearse is being calm,
Right.
because I work with a lot of people in financial services, and we talk well, just like we're talking to each other, and it's just a basic conversation. But when you get in front of a client, you're like, you don't know how to talk. You
Right.
don't need to rehearse talking, because I heard you talk. You can talk very well. You need to rehearse being calm, my
Right.
brother or my sister. You need to rehearse being calm. So it's the same thing with being in a room. Like you don't need to rehearse learning to network, or like you need to rehearse feeling comfortable being in a room with people that others might feel are greater than you or have more than you. And you
Right.
need to rehearse being comfortable in understanding that you belong. Rehearse belonging.
Right.
So it's just these small things that we need to rehearse and reinforce and affirm in ourselves. So when we show up in the environment that our future self is supposed to thrive in, we
Right.
don't act like the old self, because we're scared to embrace the fact that, hey, I've arrived. So
Right. Right.
that's what I would say.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Have you read the book Atomic Habits?
Atomic Habits. I've seen it. I've seen
Okay.
it, but I have not read it.
Okay. The way you conceptualize that sounds like how he explains, like, atomic habits, and really just
Mm.
doing something like little by little by little, because when you look
Yes.
at
Yes, ma'am.
um
Yes, ma'am.
and not the analogy that he used, but when you're, say you have a mountain to climb, when you look at the
Mm.
whole entire mountain, it's like daunting. It might seem scary, it might
Mm.
seem like you can't do it, but if you just say, like, I could take a step, I could take
Mm.
another step, I could take another step, and then before you know it, it's like you're halfway up the mountain, right? So
Mm.
yeah, it's just a
Right.
testament to, just taking it day by day, taking it moment by moment, and being present, being present in where you are at any given time, so that you
Yes.
can actually even be aware enough of yourself to say, okay, how am I operating? Like, is this the old me, or is this where I'm trying to go? So that's important.
Yes, ma'am.
But
That
yeah,
is.
that's pretty much it. I really appreciate this conversation. Like, this was good. If you have, do you have anything else to share, maybe about like where you're going to be going with the financial services, what you have planned, when's the podcast coming back, anything you want to tell our viewing audience?
I just want to say praise be to Allah. I appreciate you having me on. I appreciate the brothers and sisters, the listening audience, just for being in here and just tuning in with us and just sharing space. What I have coming in the future, I have more episodes of Breaking the Machine coming out. I'm going to just continue to focus on building my online community, the Ancestral Plane, and I'll have a private community coming very soon. It'll start off as a book club, but it's going to grow from there. I used to do monthly Unity fast with my podcast. I'm going to start that back up again and start doing monthly fast with my community. But yeah, I would just say that the biggest thing is just let's just be present in the moment and just appreciate the present moment. I just try to wake up every day and appreciate the fact that, you know, everybody that I grew up with isn't here. Everybody that, that we might want to be here isn't here, but so many people that add value to our life are here. So many people, show up for us on a daily basis. So let's just focus on abundance and the things that we do have and the things that are going right and the plans and the goals that we did hit this year and what we are doing right. And just yeah, man, just focus on the positive things that are ahead of us and the positive things that are here. So I just want to say thank you, and I appreciate you for having me on the show. This has been a great conversation, and inshallah, it impacts the people in a positive way. And I didn't rub anybody in the wrong way, and if I did, I sincerely apologize. But my intentions were pure and only to uplift the listening audience and to uplift myself and to affirm and remind myself of our greatness.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. Thank you so much. That was a great conversation. Thank you to the listening audience. And thank you if you're watching the replay. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.